Friends, good morning to all of you. Right, today we are discussing another topic of the case law on rights of prisoners. You may be knowing who is a prisoner. Prisoner is a person lodged in jail, maybe on the allegation of certain offense. Here what happened is very recently, a Ugandan woman prisoner. She is from Uganda. By name Sarah, her name I will tell you, it's very Jessica Sarah Kafiko, Jessa, Jessica Sarah Sarah and Kafiko, Kafa. So, who was lodged in Tihar, jail number 6. So, she died on 25/7/2020, and the Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative, which is a non-governmental organization, they want the government of India to find out, because they raised a concern about the condition of the foreign prisoners in India, and definitely they want an inquiry into the death of the Ugandan woman, Jessica Sarah Kafiko. So, right. So, actually, who received an injury in the trouble, in the scuffling actually with the police. Right. Now, let's go into the incident proper as to how the incident took place. Right. So, time and again, we have been telling you that the rights, human rights, rights of the prisoners, definitely, rights of prisoners, every right will be there. So, according to the international humanitarian law, I told you, international humanitarian says there should be no discrimination among the prisoners, whether they are Indians or foreigners or belong to whichever country, and they should be free from torture. Even though they are prisoners, they should not be put to torture, and particularly the woman should be treated properly. No degrading, no inhuman treatment should be there. Right? ICCPR. So we have been knowing, according to ICCPR, it is it says clearly no arbitrary arrest and right to bail. All these things we discussed, and even in India also, Article 14 of the Constitution says everybody is equal before law, and even the Prisons Act is also there. So the prisoners should be treated on par with others. They have all fundamental rights. They have all human rights, except the movement. That means they should not move outside, except the control of their movement. Otherwise, all rights are inherent with them. So, their rights are, for example, inherent dignity. They should be treated with a dignity, and you should not discriminate in them basing on the race, religion, caste, sex, date of birth, place of birth, all these things. And you have to respect their religious beliefs. Okay, if he's a Christian, on Sunday, let him pray God, Jesus the God, like that. So, all human rights and fundamental rights except the free movement will be there, and they can easily take part in the cultural activities also, and they can work, and the amount accrued by them should be spent or should be given to them also. Sometimes they will be allowed to do the community service also. Here in Ongole, we have been seeing the prisoners running a petrol bunk. Right? Recently, due to the COVID-19 period, yes, they have made the so-called masks and sold them at a cheaper rate of 10 rupees, and they are very good, literally. Yes, people actually literally thronged to the nearby that petrol bunk, and even I purchased 5 masks. Yes, definitely community service also, definitely. So in this connection, their rights, we told you the very famous case law, Hussainara Khatun versus Union of India, and also Prem Shankar Shukla, not to be handcuffed. Prisoners should not be handcuffed. Prem Shankar Shukla versus Delhi administration. All these cases were discussed. Now let us come back our today's topic. So this woman Sarah, let us give a short name to her. She died being beaten by the police. What happened is there are certain problems in the jail. No doubt during year 2019, on 6/7/2019, she was arrested in a case of NDPS Act. You may be knowing, always I have been telling, Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act case. She was arrested. It is a very serious case. According to Section 20, if the offence is proved, she will be lodged in jail for 20 years, and she has to pay hefty amount of fine also. She is there, right? So all of us are aware that the COVID-19 pandemic started showing its signals right from March. So during the time, the Honorable Supreme Court of India, they have given guidelines to ease the prisons. That means to release the persons on bail, particularly the persons who are likely to be affected with the so-called COVID-19. But these are foreigners. I have already told you. There are 5,168 prisoners in India belonging to foreign countries. So this woman, she was lodged in jail number 6. Right, so she along with about 51 prisoners, she raised a protest right from March. Right from March, she raised a protest that they should be sent out. They should be released basing on the prevailing situation of COVID-19, but they were not released. So according to her, these are the problems. Number one, blanket denial of bail and also parole. So since she is belonging to another country, normally no bail is given to her, and parole, it's not she can't expect of coming out on parole. The second, curbs on communication with family members and also with lawyers. This is a practical problem, and she could not communicate to the parents because certain times will be there when they will be allowed to talk with their sons. Of course, only one phone will be provided, and the phone will be used by the jail, that prisoners who are powerful. So anyway, the curb on communication with the family members and also advocates is also another problem. The next problem is the courts. They have, you may be knowing, they have suspended the regular work. So the courts are not functioning. The trial is not going on. If the trial goes on, the case will have been decided. But the suspension has caused another problem. And next, delayed consular access. Of course, she wants to get back to Uganda, or at least she wanted to contact Ugandan consulate, at least to send somebody for her assistance in the speedy trial or failed trial of the case. But there is heavy delay. And lastly, suspension of the international flights. Even though she gets bail, she cannot go back to her country because all international flights have been suspended right from March, and they may resume in the month of September only. Therefore, with all these things, definitely, so she raised a protest in the month of March. She raised a protest against the jail authorities along with 51 other prisoners. Actually, prior to that, Sarah, she made a representation before the High Powered Committee, Delhi. So, in the month of March, that discrimination is shown against the foreign prisoners, and they are being put to so many restrictions. Discrimination is there. That is the allegation. So, of course, as usual, the High Powered Committee, normally they did not do anything. Anyway, she wanted to protest, and while protesting, the prison police, actually, they say that they used minimum force, but anyway, her right hand was injured in the protest. That means when they were protesting, the prison police came and lathi charged. So during that incident, she have received a fracture to her right hand. When this incident happened on 16/6/2020. In the month of June, she protested along with others, and the police used force, as a result of which her right hand was fractured. She was taking treatment. The orthopedician of Tihar jail, he has also come. He is giving medication, but it's not cured. Therefore, she was referred to a hospital for surgery. There they wanted to conduct the surgery, and during conducting of surgery on 25/7/2020, she died. Of course, the medical officer says there is a dislocation of the right hand, that is a metacarpal phalangeal joint dislocation. Phalanges, you may be knowing, this is a phalangeal joint. So this is dislocated. Phalanges, ఈ చేతులకు ఉంటాయి, ఈ అనమాట మణికట్లు అంటాం చూడు, ఇవి ఈ phalanges అంటారు వీటిని. There is a fracture, dislocation only. So that injury is definitely very, very simple injury, and I am sure it cannot cause death, and the doctor cannot give certificate. But now the PM report says that she died of cardiac arrest. That means she might have been afraid. We don't know the reasons, but anyway, according to the PM certificate, she died of cardiac arrest. So now what justice will be done to her. Definitely, the CHRI, Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative, they say that there is suspicion. This is a case of death in prison's custody. That means death in police custody. So the National Human Rights Commission should come into the picture. They have to inquire whether the police committed any excesses, committed any atrocities, whether they have used torturous methods on this woman. And no doubt, definitely the police say that you have used minimum force, but who will believe? Nobody will believe, and therefore they wanted an independent inquiry by NHRC and deal with the prison officials. Right, this is the demand. Anyway, now we have discussed the rights of the prisoners also. The response from the prison's DG, Sandeep Goyal, he says that Sarah received an injury to her right hand during the incident of unrest in jail number 6 on 16/6/20. Of course, jail staff used minimum force. So anyway, everybody will be telling the thing. Anyway, we have got our sympathies to this Ugandan woman. She may be an accused. Of course, she was involved in a case of NDPS Act. She is there right from for the past 1 year. No bail was given to her. Ultimately, when she raised her voice, when she said that there is a discrimination about the foreign prisoners, the prison authorities used lathi charge, and ultimately they are responsible for killing her, and definitely she should get compensation. Of course, not she, her bereaved family members, they have to get the so-called compensation. Now please remember the rights of prisoners. Once again I will tell you, no discrimination, whether it's a foreign national or Indian, no discrimination, inherent dignity, all rights, HR and FR, except the right to movement. Please remember, this is a classic case where a woman dies in prison custody. Normally we will be hearing about police excess, DK Basu case, but here it is a typical case where she died in prison, right? Anyway, please look to the case law and enrich your legal knowledge. Thank you very much.